Hey there, it's Matt with 1T Fit and Finish. Today we're going to build some shelves inside a closet, built-ins for bedrooms. I start off with putting the laser level up and finding the center of the closet. I then make a mark right above the baseboard and mark 3/8 of an inch on each side of the mark, line up a piece of melamine cut off, and use that with my multi-tool as a guide and cut out the baseboard. I then set up the laser level on each side of the new cuts that I made on the baseboard, and I take measurements. These will be the measurements for the back cleats. Out at the miter saw, I have several scraps of MDF that was used for the door casing. I'll be using these to minimize waste. This is a multifamily housing unit, and I had several built-ins to install over the span of a few days, so you're going to see several wardrobe changes throughout the video. My preferred method of installation is to send one nail in the upper corner, check to make sure that the cleat is level, find the studs, and then nail the cleat to the wall. The center divider is a 1x16 melamine shelf that I cut down to 84 inches. This slips in the new notch in the baseboard and in between the 3 back cleats on the back wall. This is the process I used to design the side cleats. It's a little convoluted, but it works out well for me. Many of the larger closets required a bracket with a rod hook on it. I attach the back cleat to the back wall of the closet and align the bracket as it would be installed. I then mark where the bottom of the closet rod will hang. Then I take a rod cup and trace around the outside of the flange. From there I measure 3/4 of an inch. This will be the reveal after the rod cups are installed. I'll need to add an 1 by 3 3/4 inch trapezoid to the bottom of the 1x4 MDF due to the rod cup flange hanging below the MDF by about 1/4 of an inch. This is what the side cleat will look like. The piece of 1x4 MDF is 14 5/8 inches long and has a 45-degree miter from the center of the board with the 1 by 3 3/4 inch trapezoid glued to the bottom. And now it's off to the table saw to rip some MDF down into 1-inch strips. I'll use these 1-inch strips to make the 3 3/4 inch trapezoids that will be attached to the bottom of the side cleats. When I have to make multiple cuts, I like to mark my first cut, trim part way through, check my measurement, and then I'll put the piece back onto the miter saw and make a light pencil mark on the saw itself, and I can reproduce the same cut over and over again. What I'm doing here is cutting the trapezoid, flipping the piece of MDF over, trimming off the end, and then cutting the new trapezoid. This is really kind of unnecessary considering I'll be routering the edges anyway. You can see me lining up on the faint pencil mark. I had to install several cleats per condo, so here I'm setting up a production stop. I used the wing of the miter saw. The miter saw wing is adjustable, so I can fine-tune my cuts if needed. With my makeshift production stop, plumb, I can make multiple cuts at one time. Sometimes when recycling cutoffs, you get a piece or two that just isn't quite long enough. Oh well. Now with each of the cleats cut to length, it's time to cut the 45-degree dog ear. Each shelf gets two side cleats. They're mirrored from each other, so I pick these up, flip them over, make sure the primer is spacing out, and cut my 45. The first one is marked. I make sure that the cut's going to be good and accurate with the saw, and I make another light pencil mark so I can reproduce this cut. After all the cuts are made, it's back over to the assembly table. CA glue and activator is used to attach each of the trapezoids to the bottom of the cleats. For assembly, I like to use a piece of MDF wrapped in plastic so the CA glue won't adhere to it. I sand each cleat with 220 to knock the high points off. I then use a palm router to put an 1/8 inch roundover on each of the ends of the cleats. The side cleats are 14 5/8 inches long, so often you'll be unable to find 2 studs to attach it to. I like to use painter's caulk to glue it to the wall. When nailing the side cleats to the melamine shelving, I use 1 1/4 inch nails as to not blow through the other side. Here's a time lapse showing the entire process of the installation. The drywall corners in most houses are not 90 degrees, so I use a digital protractor and a laser measurer to find each of the angles and lengths of the shelves. Even a 1/2 degree makes a big difference over 11 inches. I transfer each of the angles and measurements to the melamine and cut them to length. I cut the melamine shelves one of 2 ways. I either use tape and tape around the outside as to eliminate chip out, or use a very fine-toothed saw blade, which is my preferred method. I also use a homemade track saw to make my cuts on the melamine shelving. I'll be making another video on how I made this track saw. I like to dry fit the top shelf and then apply a little bit of painter's caulk to it in order to glue the whole assembly together. Nearly complete, we install the closet rod cups. I like to make a shallow pilot hole before I install the screws. I use the laser measurer to find the distance between the rod cups. This will be the length of the closet rod. Or you can use a tape measure if you need to. When I cut the actual closet rod, I typically leave them 1/8 of an inch short. I either use the skill saw with the speed square or the miter saw, depending on what I have on hand. These 3-tier built-ins are incredibly affordable. They're great for small closets and incredibly simple to install and retrofit. This is Matt with 1T Fit and Finish. Thanks for watching my video. Please like it, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you on the next video.